Welcome everyone to the July 25 FaceTime DRB meeting. Tonight we have two applications on the agenda, which I had open. I didn't. Go there. So we have two applications on the agenda tonight. The first one being application 3951, which is an application requesting conditional use for approval for development on slopes greater than 15%. And application 3946, where the applicant is requesting a front setback waiver for an attached garage, and this is a continued hearing on 3946. Before we move on to the new business, we do have some old business from the June meeting, which would be a review of the minutes from the June 2025 meeting. Did I have a chance to review the minutes from the meeting?
Yep.
Yes.
Any corrections, changes?
I move to accept the minutes as written.
Second.
Okay. Of course, I skipped another one of those to do, but that's pretty normal. Tonight we have on the board myself, Daniel Young, Jim Donkersloot. If I butcher your name, I'm sorry.
That's close, that's good. No, that's his name, that's
Mike Wendell.
Oh,
John blanks the names tonight.
Beth Eisenhower.
I'm just gonna let you say your own names.
Guy Deutsch.
Eve Silverman.
So meeting minutes are approved.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Do I hear a motion to approve the meeting minutes from
I
June?
move to approve the meeting minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hearing no opposition, motion passes. Okay, next up, let's determine who are interested parties in attendance tonight. Or either application, let's start with 3951, which is, you know, probably butcher this also. Achelda.
Back data.
Backlina, see, I told you. I don't even try. Do we have interested parties present that would like to be identified as interested parties on the record?
Yes, I'm Alfred Cushman, I'm the president of Cushman Design Group.
Okay. Anyone else?
I'm Chris Quinn, I am with Red House Building, the general contractor.
George McCain with McCain Consulting, engineer and applicant for the application.
Chad Forcier, project manager at Cushman Design.
Anyone else? Okay.
And I'm Jared Cadwell, I'm a neighbor.
Okay. And one adjoining or budding landowner, okay, there, anyone that's going to be speaking tonight, I'm going to administer an oath. And they're ready to just say, I do, or yes, whatever. I hereby swear that the evidence I give in the cause under consideration shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth, under the pains and penalties of perjury.
Yes.
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 Thank you. All right. All right, so I guess we can move on to application 3951. And did everyone have a chance to take a look at this application to determine if the application was everything was submitted for review?
The only, go ahead, Jim.
3951, correct?
Yes, correct.
The only thing I don't see that's pertinent, that said is here, but maybe I'm not seeing it, is that they're not. All the property lines, drawn on the map or setbacks. Which would be pertinent, I would think, especially to the east side of the property.
It just has this impact.
Yeah, we are showing the setback line, but some of the property lines did get cut off there. So my apologies for that.
So the setback lines. I see the property on the bottom, I see it towards the road,
Yep,
and then it just goes straight up.
straight up to the left of the permitted leach field. Up to the top of where the color ends.
Oh, hold on, let me get on the other map.
Right, existing driveway coming in from the east.
Yep.
So. Following that bottom setback, you go over and it goes off the. Off the map, looking at the contoured map, is that correct? And then it comes back on. Like, where's the east setback?
East setback. It's this line right here.
Okay,
So this is coming along the road. Up against the leach field.
that's the west one,
Goes
right?
top.
So the property line, is that a property line?
This right here is the property line.
Oh.
There's the iron pin with the corner here. So the property line comes down through here, does get cut off at the edge of right Hill here.
So these are on the other property?
Right, yeah, those are in easement.
Oh,
There's a septic easement that
a
is
box there.
this line here. It cuts back over this way.
Okay.
Well, we're over by the easement, I guess. So it says existing leach field and permitted leach field. Is the permitted leach field the one that we're talking about today?
Yes, that's the one that is intended to replace the existing one.
Okay.
And that is on 15%.
So how is that, not, so why is that a point of discussion if it's already permitted?
We got a permit through the state of Vermont for construction of the system, so it's adequately sized and meets all the state regulations. But we did not come through and get a town permit for this disturbances to 15% or more associated with constructing the system. So it's permitted through the state,
Permitted through the state, but not.
but not
through-
permitted through the town for
I
the steep
understand.
slope portion.
Okay. Thanks for clarifying.
No worries.
Then you said you started building and then decided to do it, we originally.
Yep, yeah, I
planned-
don't know if we want to jump right in or
Oh, yeah,
if we're ready to go.
we're just trying to see if we got a complete application.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry,
No,
I
fine.
was just eager.
I was just following her lead.
No, it's fine.
You know,
It's formally informal. Any other comments on completeness? Otherwise, we'll vote to be complete or not.
I deem it complete.
So everybody's good with. Do I hear a motion to deem application 3951 complete and ready for review by the board?
I move to deem application 359. 395-1, complete.
Here a
A
second,
second?
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing opposition, the motion passes. So, from there, we will move to the applicant's presentation. And then we can follow that up with questions from the board and questions from anyone in the audience.
Perfect. So you ready for my spiel?
We are ready.
All right. So yes, we are looking at getting approval for disturbances to slopes in excess of 25% or 15%, and some 25% as well. Basically, the landowner and their folks went in and got a permit to renovate the house. During the course of construction and as they were designing that, they looked at adding this concrete patio that's on the south end of the structure, as well as replacing the leach field. Since they were doing such big renovations on the house, they figured that a new leach field was a prudent thing to do at the time. Didn't realize that those rose to the level of requiring a permit amendment for these disturbances to steep slopes. So once they found that out, they called us. We came up with these plans here, came and met with Jason to talk about what we needed to do and what was going through. So we are looking for an after the fact approval. But we've got two different maps that are shown on here. The first one is the steep slope map, that shows that our concrete patio area was less than 25% pre-construction. So these are pre-construction contours on the slope analysis plan. And then on the sheet behind it is kind of a mixture of both the as-built condition and then some modifications we're proposing to mitigate some of these disturbances that happened on steep slopes. So this includes the erosion control that's out there and in place now. They had already done most of the typical erosion control measures that we would recommend for disturbances steeper than 15%. There's silt fence along the low end of that property. Everything's been seeded and mulched and stabilized in the disturbed areas when it's going to be untouched for more than a week. So we've got this erosion control plan together, as well as you can see on the south end there near the concrete patio area. They did kind of fill down below where that where the patio is going to allow access back and forth between both sides of the house below the patio. And we're going to be pulling that slope back to kind of restore the 25% slope areas. There are also some landscaping plans in here, so we'll be, replanting, stabilizing the slopes with some boulders. And pulling that slope back to try to restore some of the areas that were disturbed for partial construction of that patio, which is since stopped until we can get approval from you guys. So I think we've got everything in here, and the plan certainly could have been approved if we had come in here beforehand, but obviously that step got missed, so we're back here to make it right and see if you guys have any comments.
So I'm looking at the landscape plan here.
And I've got full-size copies of all these. If anybody wants to look at a paper copy or something, just let me know, and I can, Jason's got it too, it looks like, so.
Lots of green circles.
Yep.
Any species?
Is that Chad, maybe Chad, did you have species key on there?
Well, the ones in the ones up by the patio are essentially kind of decorative, they're not really part of it. Soil or like a reforestation concept. The ones sort of to the south of that boulder area, we had thought we would be using kind of a mix of balsam fir, Fraser fir, sugar maple, and river birch. That's what the if you zoom in, those are the 4 different species that we were happy to commit to something along that line. The size of them has also been indicated. So our plan was to kind of fill that zone in that was more heavily disturbed, than would it seemed like a goodwill gesture to sort of replant that area based on as we discovered this situation.
Okay, thank you. And we'll go back to the topography map, could we? Okay. Just wanted to see, yeah, where they're gonna buffer it, what was gonna happen, I thought there's a lot up there. Just for stability in the ground also, once they root.
Yeah, I think those, you know, that density and those types of trees, I think those should all help significantly with stabilizing that slope once we can pull it back.
Yeah. Something I was interested in.
Regardless of whether those were built on steep slopes, when have you guys had to come back for a building permit?
Yep, no, we realized that that's part of what they realized was that the patio and the wastewater, or that absent of the wastewater system, that the patio changes should have come in for a permit amendment. So they were developing that and realized that this steep slope issue existed, and that's when McCain got involved, and yes, that was a glitch on that.
Yeah,
end
you
that we're
didn't
trying
know
to
you
fix.
needed to do an amendment, or you knew you did.
I'll say, I'd rather say this, which is that when we went in for the original permit to reconstruct the home, it was an administrative approval, so our visibility at that point into what would have been required, given that we were kind of unbeknownst to us, kind of coming up close to something that needed further review, we didn't have no visibility of that because the original permit was really just an administrative review. So as a result of that, we kind of discovered the DRB approval aspect of the amendment, because it's been, you know, I've been doing this for 25 years. There's been lots of big residential projects that have had, you know, kind of like a series of changes that were administratively approved. And so because the history of the project was this kind of one-stop administrative approval, there was no like visibility into that. We had kind of unbeknownst to us, crossed over into something that required a much more, you know, considered approach and thoughtful presentation of information to you folks for
Yeah.
review. So
You guys didn't have limits of disturbance on the original application?
it was a, you know, replacement of an existing structure, and there was a pretty minimal. It, it was administratively approved. With,
Yeah, so you guys didn't have any demarcation of where you could build within, I guess is my question.
Not required on a zoning permit.
Yeah, originally it was all limited to kind of the footprint of the existing house and where it had been previously disturbed for construction.
Mhm.
They realized that this change in scope triggered the additional review.
Right.
So,
it was discussed.
That's why we're here trying to make it.
Yeah, I guess, and just to clarify, so the patio concept was developed more than a year after the project started. So just understand the timeline, like the patio was not part of the project, and then it got conceived, and so there was a
Right.
chunk of time in between those two events.
Was that undisturbed land though? You said you had a permit to build on the existing disturbed area?
That was all parking area where that was previously disturbed for building parking and, you know, the septic system. The current septic system is behind them. So it all been.
It all had been, okay.
Yeah.
I'd like to say, to answer part of your query is, take responsibility for the fact that we should have known to have applied for an additional zoning permit. I'm saying that to you.
Mhm.
I've been in business for 35 years. When we covered what it was that had happened, and as George said, we halted construction on the patio completely. We believed that we got more of our ducks in a row, went to George, and said, okay, so let's figure this retroactively and come back. It did what, I just said, around, we could have, should have known. And so that's what we're here doing tonight.
Okay, well, yeah, so the scope changed, and that happens quite a bit when you're building something like that, yeah, right, it's just, while you're at it. Let's
Yeah.
do this, those are the three most expensive words in project, while you're at it, maybe 4 words, okay? Let's do this, let's do that, so, understood, the scope changed and,
Yeah, and we're here trying to put everything back in order, basically.
agreed, yeah.
Really, there wasn't no building envelope on this. It was-
There wasn't before, no, it wasn't needed for the
Yeah.
administrative
So
permit.
you didn't really,
And you did the right thing, you're going for another leach field. A backup, but, for the future, so yeah.
Yeah, well, it's gonna get built now, so they're gonna
Okay,
construct, so part of what we're asking for approval for is construction of that leach field. But figured since they have, equipment and we're doing all this other work, why work with a 40-year-old leach field that,
yep,
then we're gonna get the site all cleaned up and 2 weeks later, they're gonna need to replace it anyway.
yeah, and I see the isolation from the well's way on the other side. of
Yep.
That house there too, so, yeah. Yeah, sure. Planning for the long run, so that's good. Yeah, understood, I think that we're good here, as far as I'm concerned. Anybody else?
Can I ask a question? George, you had said that if this hadn't been overlooked and you had come to the board with a steep slopes application, that you felt that that would be approved.
Yes.
Can you explain why you feel that?
Yep, the concrete patio area, I believe does qualify as a structure per the zoning regulations, so it definitely requires this review. But that's sited completely on slopes that are less than 25%, so it's an approvable location for that patio. If we had come ahead of time. And then the disturbances to the 25% slopes are. I forget the exact verbiage in the regulations, but they're permittable to accommodate construction on adjacent land that is less than 25%. So that we did have some disturbances there that could have been approved, and maybe we would have not quite had as much slope going down the hill, but now we're proposing to pull that back so that we're kind of minimizing those disturbances to the 25% slope. At the end of the day, they did get disturbed, but we're gonna be restoring them. So I think the second plan that shows the revised contours that are pulling that slope back and replanting that zone. And if that had stayed native and, in the original plan, we wouldn't have had to do that, but we'll be putting it back, so it should be very similar once everything's completed.
And is there a view from this house?
Yes, I believe it does have a view of, I don't know if it's Mount Ellen or north or south.
It's broadly to the west, sort of drawing left. if
Yeah,
you will.
primarily Allen,
Towards
to
the,
the west, southwest.
Right.
So it's kind of the opposite side of the patio.
okay,
toward
the other
driveway.
direction?
Yeah.
Okay. I was just concerned that if those trees that you're planting were to grow tall, that a future owner might be tempted to cut
That's,
them down.
that's the direction of the school.
Yeah, that looks straight down the hill to the school right across.
Okay.
Or it's already quite
Right.
thickly wooded.
Yeah,
I mean,
Yeah.
it's probably almost as much of a privacy benefit to the owners.
Yeah.
as it is
Yeah, the evergreen.
This group.
Our intent there is to help with stabilization of slopes.
Mhm, mhm.
That was our goal there.
There's still a good swath of forest between
Yeah.
the site and.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
it's
Molten Road.
100 yards or so.
Yeah, it's gotta be 200 or 300 feet from the edge of Bragg Hill up to where the. Even existing limits of disturbance are. And we'll be pulling that closer to the patio.
I'm seeing some very steep slopes. Just north of the patio. this was a previous house site? Is it are those natural gradient slopes or was
Those
that
are all within the previously disturbed area of the house, so there was some terracing and some gardens there.
not necessarily
Those
natural
are not
gradient?
all, not the naturally occurring slopes, no, those are from previous site development. And you can see pretty clearly that there's that top band of red that runs along, and even once you go off the property, continues to the east. So I think it's a very safe assumption that that was all part of the old construction or old development of the site. And that naturally occurring steep slope is that band between Bragg Hill and the development area.
What are those rectangles up by TP3 there? Those solar
believe-
panels or something?
That was a garden, I believe. That was, I don't believe that still exists. This was part of the site was mapped, before construction was part of the wastewater.
There's a
design.
raised bed.
Raised beds, okay.
These garden beds from previous homeowners.
Interesting, that makes it on the plan.
Right?
Stand by raised beds.
How much more work is there to be done?
We still gotta install the leach field, so that hasn't been constructed yet. Installed a new septic tank. And the patio is maybe 30% of that.
Where is it?
That is
What's that?
Where is it been for?
Yeah, yeah. In terms of total volume of work complete on the whole project or like
No, just
the
the
area,
patio.
the patio,
Patio and stuff.
patio, pool area, yeah, it's. Oh. We're probably about 40% done, that range.
But there shouldn't be any
Basically, the
new
below ground work has happened, meaning the footings in the wall, but
Just
nothing beyond that.
just grading, maybe, once we get done.
Grading, yeah, and the part that maybe I'll be repeating myself here, but just so it's clear, that part of why, when we talk about that slope that's getting disturbed to the south of the patio, that then is going to get kind of revegetated is because that is our only path of access for excavation equipment to get back behind the building to do all of the septic work. Kind of a ship in a bottle
Yeah.
situation here. So that's why, so that has been, currently kind of artificially plateaued to create access, but now it gets sculpted back as we work our way out and get replanted.
I believe you'd mentioned some lighting to me going down the driveway. Did I remember that correctly?
You do,
Can you elaborate them on that a little bit?
sure.
Sure. The easiest place to look at this would be on LS2, essentially LS1 and LS2 drawings. The the concept detail is on the left there. If you kind of pan to the left, you can see that we were thinking of installing sort of a guardrail. This is a detail that actually we have this in our office parking lot. It's a Bega light that's a kind of a very nondescript downlight only type of a light. So to provide, the homeowner's quite, the homeowner expressed a lot of concerns about, safety. And wanted to feel like she had good light for when she arrived, and so we thought it would be, smart to put in kind of a guardrail on that lower, on the downhill side of the driveway, just with kind of oversized, pressure treated to protect, and provide lighting for her to feel comfortable on arrival.
And the light would just point uphill then.
No, it's very
Down
down.
past my-
It's all. they're
But
down.
only on the driveway side, would it be
Yeah.
illuminated? Nothing shining?
Well, I mean, you can look up the spec for that light, it's indicated there, it's like.
It's a very narrow,
But it's mounted on just the side of the post that faces the driveway.
Yeah.
there.
Correct, that was the plan, was that it's kind of like a conical cylindrical dark brown shape with only the lights in that bottom piece that comes straight down, so those.
Well, that's what I was gonna ask, so it's just that angled,
Correct,
That line along.
probably, is it nice sky rated?
yes.
yeah, it's a nice,
Yes,
dark sky
yeah.
compliant. Light, and you can see the locations of those up the driveway, and then there's more of them at the top in the parking area.
But
Those
the,
red
and the
LED
height off the
beams.
ground of those is,
It's
what's,
like 5 feet or so.
I don't think it's that high. Well, that would
4 or
be-
5 feet.
Just
the post. The post itself is,
yeah, that's right.
yeah, so a little, about 4.5 feet off the ground.
Just because of, snow buildup, we want it to be functional during the winter.
If we get any.
Right? But that's the less these days.
That's why it is. I checked ours in the park. Where it is. It's pretty consistent. If you go up one page to the LS1 sheet, you'll see there's more without the rail system, you can keep going, up the page. You can see there's a few more there by the parking.
Jason, is there any issue with that being driveway infrastructure?
Driveway's existing,
Oh, okay, so there's no setback issue.
driveway's existing. Parking area would be new, but it's within the building envelope. Um, More than likely, is that about where it's at?
Yep.
So, again, I don't think we've stated that's not natural gradient. Within the building envelope.
Between the driveway and the old foundation, so it was pretty clearly worked to build the house.
I'm all set.
Do we have anybody in the audience that has any questions that hasn't spoken, just in case? Okay. I'm all set as well.
Close it.
So, do I hear a motion to close application number 3951?
I moved to close application 3951.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing no opposition, motion passes.
Thank you all very much. Appreciate your time this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But I think that's like that, right? Yeah. That's no. We got it.
Thank you.
Sure. Yeah, so you are to the.
Volunteer.
Okay. I see, I do kind of. You're out.
Not sweating no more?
Sure.
What's that? Not sweating no more?
We sign these.
I do, yeah.
We're inside, I'm assuming we're in here.
Yeah. You know, well, you probably know, but I'll tell you anyway,
Thank you, folks.
Yeah.
Hey.
That's right.
So have a seat.
Thank you.
Hey, good to see you all. Have a great evening.
See you, George. You can come up here, come right up to the table.
Bring all over it.
What's that?
My wife.
Oh, that's painful.
She's an ag, you can't sit down on the fire.
Yeah, that's really rough.
Yeah, disclosed their 6 feet. So. Right, allowed.
Alright. That's the water on it, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's easy, it's easy.
It's all fucking there.
Hey. Yes, let's move on to our continued hearing on King applications, which is application 3946. Which is requesting a front setback waiver. We had a site visit on the 26th at 10 AM property to take a look at layout and everything that was there.
Right there.
So following the site visit, are there any comments anyone has on it or?
It just seems like it doesn't encroach on the leach field as we were wondering if it was. It seems at that 45 feet, 20 feet. Would be still above that. Flat.
About that retaining wall, yeah. And then I measured it, I guess we gained 15 feet closer to, 1.5 feet, 18 inches closer to the road. So I'll be a little bit further away from that,
45 foot.
from a little bit away from the leach field. No, so.
Oh,
No questions.
Yeah, I think.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
We've had
think we've
a lot of opportunity to.
Yeah. seen the challenges.
Yeah, it's a tight spot, for sure. You'll look there today.
I have one. Had you, are you worried about snow piling up towards the house?
I'm. Most of the snow, because of that big, kitchen dormer that we have, it's only a little rat run that's about 5 feet. So, and there's gonna be probably at least 8 to 10 feet between the house and the proposed garage.
So plenty of room for snow to,
Yeah, and the run is going away from the house. It's gonna be. The eaves are parallel with the eaves on the house, so, there, shouldn't be any snow on the gable.
so the
The
bridge
gable,
is parallel with the road.
right, the
okay.
ridge, the two gables are facing each other, so. I end up having to, I like to add snow on that old house to get against the house for insulation, so anything that is there. will
You're
help.
saying that the roof is gonna be oriented such that you're gonna have to shovel up for the garage, that.
I have to, I'll have to plow with my
Plow.
tractor, drop the,
Right.
but we're gonna have a 16-foot door on the, so rather than trying to squeeze into a 9-foot, instead of 2 garage doors, it's just gonna have one. And now, and on my scraper blade on my tractor, I just backed up this wall. And, it shouldn't, it's gonna be, standing seam metal roof like the house, so most of the snow eventually, I might have a snow rig put on it too, rather than let the snow go off. And it's not gonna be heated, so I won't have any ice or anything like that. It's, I've done plowing, my whole life. I used to manage run these condominiums and I've been plowing.
Yeah, I was just trying to make sure I was visualizing it the right orientation.
Yeah.
So it's basically like the house.
Right. And then if after I'm gone, Mike Quimble can take over, he's got a back drag on his plow, and you just drop it down and back up,
I'm taking that off.
you're taking it off.
You get too many takers for it.
No, I never had one on.
You don't use a back drag,
No.
and well, Bob says dragging, I had to have one when
I
I
get
used.
stuck enough now as it is, I don't need to put more snow underneath the truck.
No, it's not gonna have much of a driveway to plow anyways. What is it? 45 feet, and that's the center of the road. So I'm,
Don't forget what the town puts on you. They add that to it.
well, yeah, sounds like a lot of work to me. Actually. I think it's way too much work too. Yeah, but there's no thought about bringing the entrance to the garage around the corner and just orienting it differently. It's
drops
not
off.
it's not a done
That's
deal.
not-
I've
that's all
got a
drops off.
new, garage door being installed on the barn, and for this year. That's where my wife's gonna park her car, and, this is not gonna happen this year, but I've got too much going on. Can't do the project this year. But this waiver, I was told, will be good for 2 years. Yeah. Sure. Well, personally, I don't like it, but if that's what you want, that's. Yeah. That's what we're here for. What don't you like about it? The work. Oh, the work, yeah, I don't like that.
And I would have joined it to the house, to be honest with you, myself, but that's just me.
The thing about it, the house is so out of whack. It's 3 inches out of square. And
I was up there today, the house is old.
yeah, so I don't know when it was built, but it was a camp when we bought it, and we put a 10 by 30 foot addition on the back, and this is when I first started working for Brothers Building, and I had all these
Remnants.
measurements for squaring off of a straight line, so I got to put all these stakes in, laid it out for the Anderson concrete. Square off the back wall. And that's why if you go up there, you'll see my foundation, it's only 10 foot long and it's overhanging 2 inches in 10 feet. So you gotta, when you got a house that's 3 or 4 inches out of square, you don't wanna try to build to it.
I saw some stakes up there today where they just,
That's the
That's
setback.
stakes? that's setbacks.
Yeah, that's the front of the proposed building, but those are 18 inches.
Offset.
No, I get an extra 18 inches ahead of those stakes.
Well, I think Jim has a good point that when you first presented the idea, it was a lot simpler of a project.
It's, I don't think it's gonna be that bad. It's not, it's just a single story. Other than I am gonna have it's gonna, have an area underneath from the front grade, it'll be 1 story.
Yeah.
And, I have to talk to a foundation contractor and see whether I can do a monolithic slab on the bottom. But I have to put a concrete retaining wall in that's rugged. To keep that bang from pushing back. The foundation's probably, the whole project's gonna be a little pricey. If I had my say about it, it's not gonna happen.
In other words, Florida's looking better.
No, Florida's not looking bad. I can't stand Florida now after. It's just so crowded and so hot. Even in, April, it can be down. where we go, where it says, we used to go down by Inglewood on the west coast. Right where that girl got her hand bit off, both of her eye. That's a beautiful area. Anyways. Can't afford to do that kind of stuff anymore.
I have no more thoughts.
Yeah, if everybody's good. Do I hear a motion to close application 3946?
I move to close application 3946.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, no opposition, motion passes.
Thank you, everybody, especially for that site visit, that was. Time out of the day. So I think it was the